Let's talk USC recruiting. We're going out west for rivalry weekend, and the Trojans, they have the number one class in America. They're a week away from finishing with the number one class in America, but there's a couple things we want to talk about. We're going to break it down with national analyst Adam Gorney. But before we do that, USC fans, do me a favor. We have had a great time talking USC this entire cycle. We're going to continue talking USC recruiting into the offseason, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the Rivals Recruits channel. All right. Let's bring in Adam Gorney, and we're a week from signing day. So before we talk about this weekend's big game, is there any flip targets on USC's board that we are tracking a week from National Signing Day?
Yeah, on Friday, I was told that they were done, but we'll see. I mean, I think that's still an open question, and the opening is the receiving core of Chris Henry Jr. and Caden Dixon-Wyatt at Mater Dei. Now, I've been told that they're not recruiting Henry at all. We will see if they make a late run, if they can rustle up some NIL money. But Caden Dixon-Wyatt is the one that's interesting to us because on Friday night, he told us he's done. He's signing with Ohio State. I was told that, he's been told by USC that they don't have the money to match Ohio State's NIL offer. But if he wants to come, if he wants to stay home, if he wants to be a part of what they're building at USC under Lincoln Riley, he'd be more than welcome. So we will see in the last week if they kind of re-energize those recruitments and try to flip those guys. I think Dixon-Wyatt would probably be the more likely one.
Okay. Now, here's a name that I've seen on USC message boards. What about quarterback Ryder Lyons? I know he's committed to BYU, but his brother plays on the team. Is there any effort there to make a late push to flip him?
I don't think at this time, but let's revisit this in a year after he's done with his mission in Orlando, Florida. And so he's going to Orlando for a year, and then I don't want to say his recruitment resets, but it certainly opens back up the possibilities of other schools getting in. Now, what I've been told is that USC is not really a threat right now, but they were all in on Peyton Houston in 2027. They missed out on him. And I was told that they reset their whole entire quarterback recruiting board. And Ryder Lyons is essentially a 2027 quarterback. So can Walker Lyons, his brother, talk up the program? Can Lincoln Riley get in his ear? The way Ryder plays is very favorable to what Lincoln wants, like in a Caleb Williams type. But Dan Lanning has been very active there. His best relationship in recruiting was with Will Stein. And one of the reasons I was told he ended up not picking Oregon was because he was convinced that Will Stein wouldn't be there. He was such a good coach that he'd be a head coach somewhere else. And so he didn't want to lock in with Oregon and then lose Stein and then have to worry about transferring to play with Will Stein. So we will see where Will Stein is in a year. We will see what the USC quarterback situation looks like in 2027. I would certainly not count the Trojans out, but Miami and some other schools are going to be involved as well.
Okay, so we'll put this recruitment on the shelf for about a year, and then we'll revisit it. Now, we talked about USC closing with the number one class in America. It looks like it's going to happen. I don't see a real threat from anybody because I don't think USC is going to lose many guys, if any, down the stretch. So what do you think is the strongest position group in this 2026 class?
Yeah, it gets interesting with Georgia if they could maybe flip LaDainian Guyton and shock the world there. And Blake Stewart probably joins the class. But at USC, it's wide receiver and / pass catcher because Mark Bowman has to be, included in that group. He's the highest rated recruit in the class, a 5-star tight end. I saw him again Friday night. And when Mater Dei throws the ball to him, he is open all the time and he catches every single pass and he is just great. So he had said throughout this recruiting cycle that USC coaches were telling him that they were going to be in a lot more 12 personnel, that they were going to throw the ball a lot more. He had seen that this season, and it really only reinforced his commitment to those guys because he is just an outstanding player. But you go down the list, Boobie Feaster, it looked like Texas A&M was going to make a late run. He ends up not taking that visit this past weekend. It looks like he's locked in. Trent Mosley doesn't get enough recognition. He's been injured a little bit. He has a kind of an injury bug. But in terms of talent and playmaking ability, he's awesome. Tron Baker's been back from injury this year, has been outstanding. Luke Weaver, a guy that's not mentioned a lot because he doesn't play in the Trinity League out here, but is an outstanding pass catcher. Roderick Tizino, a guy from Louisiana that they really liked. So they've gone up and down the West Coast. They've stayed local for a lot of these top guys, and then they've dipped into Texas and Louisiana. Outstanding group that USC is bringing in to sort of replace the Mekhi Lemons and Jacoby Lanes of the world.
So this weekend, as USC takes on UCLA in a matchup where, we look at them very favorably and they could do some damage here. So they're going to bring some recruits on campus. What is the priority? What's the focus this weekend?
Yeah, I think the focus this weekend has been the early focus for 2027 all along, and it's defensive backs. And they're very lucky because they need defensive backs in 2027, and the California is absolutely loaded at the position. Now, Gavin Williams will be a target at safety. Mm-hmm. We will see if they'll try to flip Khalil Terry from Notre Dame down the road. And then there's a bunch of cornerbacks that they're going after. Duve Williams, they told that they're not going to take any 2027s until he commits and is sort of the linchpin of the class. So I think that's going to be an important one to watch. And then Danny Lang from Mater Dei, who moved Oregon up to number 2 on his list this week, but USC still remains at number 1. So wherever they go, wherever they look in Southern California, there are defensive backs, and there are defensive backs that want to play at USC. So they should have a really sort of easy time loading up at that position group. But they'll bring in a lot of the commits. They'll bring in a lot of guys. Now, USC UCLA is usually, oftentimes a tighter game, sort of one of those surprising rivalries where UCLA doesn't have the star rankings, but kind of keeps it close. We'll see if that happens this week. I mean, UCLA just looked awful this past weekend. So we will see if they get up for this game, but USC should be primed after being beaten up by Oregon this past weekend to kind of put a number on them and impress a lot of recruits.
Yeah, I feel good about USC this weekend. How about you guys? Talk to us. How you feeling about the game? How you feeling about the number 1 class? And how you feeling about some big flips on signing day? Talk to us. Comment section below.